own Abbas Hussain from Behind the Gloves, and I'm here with Mr. Sky Sports' Johnny Nelson. Johnny, how are you today?
I'm fine. You know what? That was interesting, wasn't it? It was interesting. I think we should create a hashtag battle of the dressing rooms or whatever, battle of the changing rooms. It was an interesting turn of events. It actually reminded me of Tyson Fury, Vladimir Klitschko. At this stage of their fight, little rumblings were around. Next day, the argument was about the gloves. You know, Klitschko wasn't happy. The next day after that, when he thought it was all settled, the argument was about the ring canvas up to the last hour. This is what was happening. So don't be surprised if the argument changes tomorrow and it's about gloves. Yeah. Don't be surprised if there's another argument on top of that. And these pale into insignificance once the first bell goes. But this now is becoming a personal issue, more between the corners than the fighters, because Carl a couple of times said I'm a lot bothered, and that's when Barry put it in to say, well, we've not.
Did that press conference, epitomise the hatred between the camps? Maybe not the fighters, but between the camps.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. This battle will be won and lost between the corners. That to me says everything. These fighters are very evenly matched. I think it's a tough fight, but what happens in the corners is about controlling your fighter. It's about relaying that message across, keeping your fighter cool, keeping him focused. Sticking to a game plan, so it's about the true power behind the form, which is the corners. So this kind of indicated what's going on here. It's a bit of a tug of war. Now and again, when Carl was talking, Barry butted in, Shane butted in, Blaine butted in. Now and again, when Scott was talking, Eddie, surprisingly, the Archbishop of Banterbury, was rather quiet. Whereas Joe had his piece, said his piece when he had said his piece. So you can see the tenseness there between the corners more than the fighters.
Do you think there's ever going to be danger of a fight of this magnitude being called off about the locker rooms?
No, I don't. No matter what he said or done, no matter how much screaming he said, no matter how much threats are done, this fight will happen. Now, even when it comes to the dressing room, if I was Scott Quigg, I'd say, I'm having it. Lock the door, turn the music up, shut the door, I'm done. What are you going to do? And now if Frampton's team are busy screaming and shouting about the dressing room, instead of focusing on getting the fighter focus, half the battle's won. And that's it. It's not, as far as I know, in the contract, the dressing room situation. So this will then be about cojones. Who's the biggest man? Who's the one that's going to get what they want? And so I think they're making something or nothing. But it depends on how much it means to him. Because Scott was never in that training room when Ricky Hatton used it. So it's just an interesting turn of events, and I just think I don't want the corners to affect the fighters, because this fight should be cut and dry. A tough fight between two evenly matched fighters, but now it's getting silly. It's getting picky, but interesting.
Let's talk about the fighters themselves. Who would you say is technically better between Scott and Carl?
I'd say Carl. I think Carl's technically, as a boxer, is a better boxer. As a fighter, I'd say Scott's a better fighter. Carl has proven he's technically a better boxer from the amateurs and the professionals. There's no question about that. It's about the development of Scott. Scott's a very good fighter. I think he's a better fighter than he is a boxer. So therefore, can he talk Carl into fighting his game? Can Carl control the pace, keep the distance, control the sway of the fight by outboxing him and doing what he does best? Because if it's a fight, a toe-to-toe fight, it becomes more even, so you give a man a chance that shouldn't have one. If it's a boxing match, your money would probably go on Carl, because it's quite clear he has that ability to box, and he's proved it as an amateur and a professional.
Waiting in the wings is a certain Mr. Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's called both his fighters and he's mandated to fight after this fight. How do you see either fighter, facing up to somebody like Rigondeaux?
Well, it's a fight that's there. It's a big option that's there, but it's going to be very hard for either fight. But I think these fighters are not even considering him at the moment. It reminds me of when Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank were fighting, and you had James Toney and Cole shouting him out overseas, and these guys are thinking, yeah, we know it's a big fight, but you know what, right now you're not on my remit, you're not on my radar. So even though it's a big toughie for him, these guys, realistically, he's not even in that world as far as they're concerned. Each other is in each other's world.
Johnny, finally, can I get a prediction from yourself? I know your predictions are normally not right, but let's get one from yourself.
Yeah. I'm trying to set set new standards this year. See if I can get it right. I said Carl from the off because I just think he has that pedigree, he has that ability to control and box a fight. But I'm swaying. I see Scott. I see the size of Scott. I'm thinking if he puts a pace on him, takes a pace away from Carl, puts him under pressure, crowds in, but works at the same time, swarms in. I can see Carl just jumping on. I don't think Carl will win on points. I don't think Scott will win on points. But I do think this is about tactics. Tactics say all. So to answer your question, I'll stick to what I said initially, which was Carl. But you know what? It doesn't mean I don't like the other fight. It means I like both fights. You're asking me for a prediction. That's what I think. I don't mind getting it wrong, but I'm trying to set new standards this year and get it right.
Thank you very much for your insight. Thank you for talking to Behind the Gloves. I appreciate that.
Fight fans, if you guys haven't already done so, make sure you download the Behind the Gloves app. It's free, and it features really cool stuff like a fight calendar that reminds you of all the upcoming fights, and it allows for you to, with one click, to remind yourself directly to your phone. And it also features 24/7 breaking news that's going on in boxing. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that and subscribe to this channel.